On today's episode of Ben's Bought Another Shagged R8, we are going to be changing the dreaded oil cooler. I've got the new one down here. As you can see, it is very shiny and new because it is quite common on Audi R8s for the seal at the kind of bottom to perish and start leaking, which is what I'm pretty sure mine has done, judging by the kind of all the oil around that area and underneath the car. I also, for good measure, have a new oil pipe, as I believe this is leaking. However, now I've taken the car apart, taken the side blade off and the wheel arch, and as you can hear, Ben is just trying to get a rounded bolt off the under tray. I also bought this other oil pipe, but on closer inspection, it looks like this may have already been changed, as it is way more shiny than the current one on this. But let me show you around the car and show you in more detail how you change a oil cooler and this little pipe here. So as you can see, we have already cracked on with the R8. We didn't film this bit because it is pretty boring and easy. So first step, we've removed the entire arch lining, and as you can see from in here, the oil cooler has seen better days. But also, this is the pipe I mentioned that looks quite new, and then this is the other one which I originally planned on changing anyway, so it just seems like a bit of a bonus if that one is changed. I've also removed the side blade just because I think it'll be easier to access these kind of two coolant pipes on the top. And also down there we've got a couple of Torx bolts which Ben has already removed, so this is nice and loose, ready to come off. Like I also said, we're just trying to get a rounded bolt out from under here so we can take the under tray off, because I believe that pipe kind of goes over the chassis and into the sump somewhere down here. So yeah, I think let's crack on, try and get that bolt out, and then we can simply soldier on with the task in hand. So in order to remove the oil cooler, once you have first removed the 3 Torx bolts securing it into place, you want to clamp together and remove the coolant pipes on top of the oil cooler. Then you want to remove the bolt securing the oil pipe to the cooler using a 13mm, which is located with a nut underneath the oil cooler. And as you can see here, Ben is just giving that nut a little love tap in order to get it out.
So this is the broken oil cooler. As you can see, there's oil leaking everywhere.
It's pretty scrap really. And as you can see, that oil cooler has definitely seen better days, especially since Ben threw a brick at it. So the next thing we have to do now is figure out where that dirty old pipe goes. It's that back one there. As you can see, that one looks like it's been fairly recently changed, but it's this one that runs a kind of across the top, which I think is this pipe here out of the two. So it looks like they've replaced the black powder coated section for this stainless steel version, rather than have it join into the black bit. It's just replaced with stainless, and that's one of the bolts that we had to take out the cooler, that's nutted from the underside. So we need to figure out where that goes, but it's kind of hardness for that. It's relatively an easy job. The hardest thing is getting rusty old 70,000 mile pipes off the cooler. That's what seemed to take the longest. Now we just need to figure out where the hell that pipe routes to. We figured it out. This end goes to the oil cooler, and then this part routes all the way up, and then this piece bolts into the top of the kind of oil reservoir just there. So that pipe literally routes all the way down here and is there, which you can just see wiggling, and then goes down to the cooler. So we're not entirely sure if that part is leaking. As you can see, I've removed the airbox completely to make it a lot easier. We don't actually know if that's leaking or if it's just grimy, but oh, it is leaking where it meets.
Right, here's leaking.
So yeah, that looks perish, but good news, it looks like someone has already changed this piece, so that bit will be returned. And this one seems fairly easy because it's going to the top of the oil reservoir, so fingers crossed we can get it out. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to get those bolts out, to be fair, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So in order to remove this pipe, which is located at the top of the oil reservoir, we had to remove these two very inaccessible Torx bolts located at the very top. Then with a bit of persuasion, it was able to be released from the oil reservoir. Then as you can see, we struggled massively to get the pipe out. It wasn't immediately obvious to us at the time how to remove the pipe, as it seemed to be hitting the chassis of the car. Then we finally got a breakthrough. Right, twist, twist, almost there.
Twist it.
Go on, yeah.
Yes! Yes! Get that thing.
God, you honestly do not understand the stress that went through to get that pipe out. And we are absolutely buzzing. Oh. Let me show you. So this video has been a complete write-off of emotions. Originally, I had kind of dismissed doing that pipe because I thought it was too difficult. But turns out you've got to remove this H-bar, and it seems easy enough. There's two bolts at the top, and then there's also bolts in here which kind of go there and there. But as you can see, this bolt is still in because on the other side there's a nut and the weld has broken off, so all it's doing is spinning. But we were able to just kind of tilt it just enough to get the pipe up and over this oil cooler, well, oil reservoir thing, and we finally got it out, and we are absolutely buzzing. How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm so happy that's out.
I'm out of breath because like that has just been so stressful. But now we've got the shiny new one to put in, so fingers crossed we can do that as Ben goes to go get it. Oh, there it is. So fingers crossed we can get that in and then get this back together. I have already put the oil cooler in here, which I've had to also remove because once again we didn't think we were going to get that out, but we have, and we've smashed it. So now you guys know how to, or how not to, work on your Audi R8. The only thing left to do was to reroute the new and shiny pipe, and this seemed very easy, and in fact it was, which is why this time lapse wasn't that long. Then with the new cooler installed, we had to install the new pipe to the cooler, again using that 13mm bolt located on the underside of the cooler. Once this was connected, we could then reinstall the two coolant pipes at the top. Then, of course, making sure we topped up any oil and coolant that was lost during the replacement of the oil cooler. And then it was time for our first start. There we have it, the R8 is finally back together in one piece, and I have great comfort in knowing that something quite prone to going is now finally changed, and I can rest a little easier knowing that one more thing, or rather two more things with the pipe have been changed, which are quite common faults with these. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you have found it useful. If you have, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, and of course if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and a little notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my future upcoming content with the R8. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.